this port for us. So it's not Ondo State that will do that selection. It's going to be transparently done by one of those major international consulting companies on our behalf. That is how we want it to be, because whoever we want to select must be acceptable to other people who will be, or other countries who have interest in shipping their products or their goods via the port of Ondo. And so let me also, because over the last few days, I've been hearing quite a lot of things that Mr. Governor has gotten some Chinese friends of his to run the port. That is not true. Nobody has been selected yet. The process will be transparently carried out by an international consulting company on behalf of Ondo State government.
So since it's going to involve international foreign people who are actually coming to Ondo State to invest in that port, what has government been doing to ensure that the locals, the residents in that area, are also aware of all of these and ensure that they cooperate with the investors?
Let me just correct that. It's not only international companies that have shown interest.
Okay.
There are local, as in Nigerian companies, who have also shown interest. And some of them also have the capability. But we will leave that to the consulting company to help us decide the best to run Port of Ondo for us. And of course, for us in Ondo State, one of the things that we are proud of and we market our state for is hospitality. We have highly educated people. We have industrious people, highly skilled people, but put all this together, we are also highly hospitable. And that's the reason why investors have been coming to the state. And that's the reason why you've seen the trend of what we are doing in Ondipa with investors betting in Ondo State. And we don't see any that different going forward. So we want to encourage our people. Let's keep the peace. Let's make sure that the security network that Mr. Governor and his team are also putting in place to ensure that we continue to enjoy a safe and secure state is not disturbed by our own self. So we continue to make sure that when people come in, we remain hospitable to them, and we ensure that when they come, they have positive news to tell about Ondo State wherever they go thereafter.
There is this kind of experience going forward from Apapa Port, gridlock there all the time. What exactly do you think government can do, or what government is also doing to ensure that we don't have the same experience?
Absolutely. These are part of the things that we have looked into. We have seen how Apapa developed and became a slave to his own success as a result of the ports in Apapa. And when we tell ourselves that Port of Ondo will help relieve Apapa of some of his problems, but we don't want to come and recreate those problems here as well. So the state is also working to make sure that there is a full urban planning for the entire southern part of the state, because every part of the state is going to be affected by this port of Ondo, but especially the southern part. So we ensure that there is no indiscriminate development that will hinder or create a problem of haulage and logistics and accommodation and make a mess of what should have been a success story. So there will be detailed urban planning, but I think beyond that as well, and I believe that future government will also make sure that this happens, is the enforcement of those plans, so that people do not just go ahead and relax and start putting things where they are not supposed to be, creating problems for the port users and also the residents of Ondo State living in that area.
I know that ports like these always bring about lorries, big vehicles, which also in a way will ensure that government also put in place infrastructure, especially a good road network. What's government doing in this regard?
Yeah, there are two key infrastructures that are coming up as well. And one of them is also an initiative of the Archetis administration. Everyone has been hearing of the Lekki to Araromi road that has been planned. Work is going on making sure that that's a reality. But it's just not stopping at Araromi. That road is going to go from Araromi to Omotosho to Akure to Ayire. Ayire is our northernmost border with Kogi. It's going to be a multi-lane expressway. Again, it's not the state that is going to do it. We are working with some private sectors to see to that. And that we ensure that our internal roads are not damaged by all these heavy-duty vehicles moving goods around. And second, if you recall that about 3 weeks ago, Ondipa actually hosted, on behalf of John, the Investment Promotion Agency for the Southwest Western states. And the theme was a common rail network in the southwestern zone of Nigeria, as well as energy. And that rail network is also meant to feed into the port area. The port itself is designed to have its own rail from the port. If you recall, the port itself is going to be inside the sea, not on the coast. Coming to land with a 2-kilometer bridge that will have both road and rail. And the rail from the port will fit into whether the federal government proposed rail that will come to Ore, or the proposed southwestern rail network that we're working on as at now. So from the road aspect and the rail aspect, we expect that we minimize the impact of heavy-duty vehicles within our cities.
Just yesterday, Dangote refinery was commissioned by President Muhammadu Buhari. Do you think when this port owner takes off, there should be a kind of synergy in terms of working relationship between these establishments?
Absolutely. It's a fantastic news for Nigeria as well, that we have something like Dangote refinery. Beyond the refinery is also the petrochemicals. And we expect that where the port of Ondo on the short side has got a free trade zone. Now, chemicals coming from the petrochemical industry of Dangote will be in base form. Now you can have companies who will transform those base chemicals into usable products. And we have a free trade zone there that can happen. Companies can come in there, get sited there, and then they do their manufacturing. And from there, they are able to export via the port of Ondo to the rest of the world. So yes, we see the potential opportunities that Dangote refinery and petrochemicals is going to bring on the port of Ondo as well. And one of the good things with port of Ondo is it can take about 14,000 TEU. That's about 7,000 40-feet container. A vessel carrying about 7,000 40-feet container can actually come to port of Ondo. So those kind of vessels, they can always go out with products made from base chemicals coming from Dangote refinery.
So with all of this, how can ordinary man on the street benefit from this port Ondo?
Oh, in a lots of way. The port will provide opportunities from the base artisan to people who are highly involved in technology. Let me start with the artisans, because they are probably more numerically. Now, let's look at vehicles coming from the north, bringing either iron ores or tomato products for exports. They're going to pass through Ikare. There's no way vehicles will not have issues. It means that opportunity exists for our mechanics. Maybe we now create a very nice trailer park in Ikare, where these trailers can come in, they get serviced by our guys, our resident people, and of course spare parts will be required as well. They will be busy. On the other hand, you have bricklayers as well. As the port commences operation, more people are going to be coming in. New houses will need to be built. So a lot of our artisans will have opportunities to be part of the building of these facilities that are coming in. The port itself can take in the roll-on of the vessels, bringing cars in. As the cars are coming in, they need to be refurbished, or they need to be repaired, they need to be repainted. It will create jobs opportunity for all the skilled people in these areas, And then, of course, as you go up the ladder, you now have the banks. They will come. And then opportunities for employment in the banking industry increases. And then you go further up, you have managers who need to do all this. You need managers to handle the haulage services. So across the length and breadth of employment positions, the Port of Ondo will open up vast opportunities for people of Ondo State. I was in Lagos just about a week ago, and then at the airport, I just looked at the people renting out trolleys. And they have a roster there, and I counted the number of names on the roster. There were 36. Just because people will need trolleys, 36 jobs were created, and that is just in one terminal. So you can imagine how this affects. Those 36 will probably be catering for about 4 other people. That is the impact that things like this bring to a state. So you are not, when you quoted about 100,000 jobs coming from Port of Ondo State.
In the course of your discussing this matter, you also talk about this full urban planning, especially in the southern part of the state. How do you mean? Can you expatiate on this?
This will be something that the Ministry of Physical Planning will be highly involved in. And we also have to look at how the technology will play a key role. So I expect that over the next 2 or 3 budget years, they will start looking into this, put GIS into place to make sure that they do a detailed plan of the development of our southern area, and ensure that those plans are there too. Because if we don't get it right now, already people are calling, can we get land in that area? That's people from outside. As soon as they heard the news, can we get land? Can we get land? We want to come to Ondo State. Can we visit? We know the potential, what is to come. And so proactively, that planning has to be done. And then strictly enforced when the time comes. Otherwise, we mess up things. And then the issue that we're trying to help Lagos to address, we will now bring it to our own side. But I don't see that happening.
I am also interested in the people actually taking advantage of this Port Ondo. You have also talked about what will be for the unskilled laborers, maybe the artisans. What about the graduates? Also looking up at what to do, and this opportunity now has also come. What can they do there?
I'll come to the graduate, but let's even look at our farmers. People sending cocoa through Lagos today, we know what they go through. People sending cashew to Lagos today, we know what they go through. Sometimes the goods actually get damaged inside the containers while waiting to get to the port. But with Port of Ondo now coming up, it will be a smooth sail. 2-3 days, their produce already on their way out. We are also trying as much as possible to make sure that we add values to some of those produce. So if our chocolate needs to be sent out, it's not going to be sitting inside container for 2-3 weeks before it even gets to the port at all. So for the farmers, it's a good thing when there is free flow of trade and there's no comma along the path, because it means that now they can start looking at expanding their operations, and then people know that you can get things from Nigeria in no distant time. So that helps the kind of demand that will now come up on their own from what they are producing. And for our graduates, in different forms. There's nothing that says a graduate is not an artisan, by the way, or an artisan is not a graduate. But for the ones who still feel like a white-collar job, of course, the banking industry is there. The architects are going to be involved in a lot of design of new structures that will be coming in. The same thing with the engineers. And of course, wherever you have people, in as much as we try to play safe and be healthy, medical services will be required.
Yes.
And you see that all this will start springing up to support the growth of that area as a result of what the port is doing. And it's not just going to be limited to the southern part. Even, let's take Akure, for instance, the airport is here. People are going to be flying a lot through here because of the things that they need to do at the port. And so expect hotels to boom and new ones come up again to meet the kind of needs that people coming into Ondo State will be requesting or requiring of us.
The seaport is said to be the second largest deep sea port in Nigeria. What of what essence is this?
If well, not the, we will not be looking at the largest, because if it's if we are looking at largest, it's actually going to be the largest in Nigeria.
Okay.
Because our quay length will be about 1.7 kilometers. It's longer than that of Lekki, which is the only existing deep sea port. So ours is longer. Ours can also take more boats or vessels at a time than what Lagos, the Lekki port can. And of course, we are in the deep sea, in the waters directly. We are not onshore like Lekki is, meaning that we also have space to expand in the future compared with the Lekki port. So we are actually at a vantage position. We ONDIPA worked assiduously with all the consultants to make sure that we're not just looking at today. We're looking at also what happens tomorrow when this port is getting to full capacity. There's potential for expansion. That has been built in.
So after this approval, now people should be expecting that selection process for those
selection process will come in, and then there'll be announcement of the partner, and then thereafter the partner has about 2 to 3 years to build, complete the port and their port operation.
And it's also capital intensive for one to be in the business.
The first phase is about $1.5 billion, and that's the reason why I said we're not expecting that to come from the pocket of Ondo State. Let the government continue to do what it needs to do for the people of Ondo State with what we are making, and the investor will go and source for money to do the port of Ondo for us.
And we'll have the business environment for people to actually come in and invest.
Absolutely.
The last 25 minutes thereabout, I'll be speaking with Mr. Femi Akarakiri, Director of Investment Management and Business Development, Ondo State Development and Investment Promotion Agency, ONDIPA, here in Ondo State. And we're going to be taking a look at the Ondo Seaport that has just been approved by President Muhammadu Buhari last Wednesday. I want to thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on the show today.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure having you.
As well.
That's why it's going to be today. Join us on Friday for another one. Kunle Arroyo is my name. Good morning.